Welcome to this month's ADHD and Chronic Illness Support Group for Adults, hosted by the ADHD Empowerment Community and Children and Adults with ADHD, CHAD, of Greater Los Angeles. Living with ADHD challenges every aspect of our lives. Add managing a chronic illness, and the challenges really mount up. For example, keeping track of medication schedules can be tough with ADHD's forgetfulness. Chronic pain or fatigue can make focusing even harder, creating a cycle of frustration. This group is a safe place for us. We discuss our unique challenges and celebrate our wins. We share personal experiences and support each other. Here we can learn new tools and strategies for managing ADHD alongside chronic illness. Whether it's organizing medical appointments or coping with emotional stress or even finding motivation on tough days, we're here to help. If you're new, please let us know in the chat so we can all welcome you. Today's group is just a part of our work to educate, support, and advocate for adults and children living with ADHD and ADHD. We also host online peer support groups for adults with ADHD and addiction issues, young women with ADHD, and parents of ADHD children, as well as weekly meetups for body doubling and co-working, and a journaling and meditation group. We also host a private Discord chat community, and you can ask for the link to join that in the chat. You will find all of our upcoming events listed over in our meetup community. You can find us at chadla.org for a link to join our meetup community. All of our events are facilitated by our team of volunteers, and all our work is funded by your donations. It's our mission to ensure that ADHD education and peer support are accessible to everyone, regardless of financial constraints. So while there's no fee to attend our events, as a nonprofit, we rely on donations and membership fees. If you resonate with our cause and can contribute, consider a $10 or $15 donation. You can find the link in the chat or use the QR code you see on the screen. You can also visit our website to learn more about becoming a member of CHAD. Here are a few guidelines to help you get the most out of the meeting. To let us know that you'd like to speak, please use Zoom's raise hand feature. Generally, we'll call on people in the order that hands were raised. Please keep yourself muted until you've been called on. Use the chat feature. It's encouraged even when people are talking. It's a great way to get to know other members and share your thoughts, questions, or resources with other attendees. Please just keep your chat respectful and ask consent before direct messaging other attendees. What is said here, let it stay here. We ask that you respect the confidentiality of who attends and what is shared in the group. Step up and step back. So if you're quiet, we encourage you to step up and contribute. If you speak a lot, consider taking a step back and not raising your hand for every share. No one person should monopolize the group. Respect and support one another. That's why we're here. It's everyone's responsibility to make the group a safe place. When you have the urge to give advice, remember to speak from your own experience about your own truths using I statements like I feel or in my experience, rather than telling others what you think they should do. Lastly, it's a-okay not to speak. You absolutely do not have to speak if you don't wish to. So much can be gained just by listening. Before we start group, we'd like to share a brief evidence-based overview of ADHD. We'll also be sharing a bit about the intersection of ADHD and chronic illness and the unique challenges that brings. ADHD is a lifelong neurobiological condition affecting the brain's executive functions and delaying social emotional development. Executive function skills are crucial for accomplishing any task, and these are impaired in individuals with ADHD. This leads to challenges in self-regulation and self-management. For those of us with ADHD, coordinating our executive functions to provide the right attention, focus, and effort for a task can be highly challenging. Studies show that if ADHD is not diagnosed and well treated, the related challenges can significantly decrease life expectancy by up to 13 years. However, studies also show that life expectancy and outcomes are drastically improved by two things: a proper diagnosis and a lifelong holistic treatment plan. ADHD impacts every area of our lives, so it makes sense that a proper treatment plan should also touch multiple areas of our lives. A holistic treatment plan includes a combination of ADHD education, skills training, medical treatment, and peer support. I want to expand a little on the brain's executive functions, which are both delayed and impaired in individuals with ADHD. These functions are what help us manage and regulate our planning, decision-making, learning, judgment, emotions, and actions. So if you're doing something, you're using your brain's executive function skills. Managing chronic illness takes a lot of executive function skills. There are several models to illustrate the brain's executive functions. This model you see on the screen is based on the work of Dr. Thomas E. Brown. You can see all the different types of jobs the brain has to manage to get things done. These executive functions come online at different times and in different combinations depending on what it is we're trying to accomplish. For those of us with ADHD, coordinating our executive functions to provide the right attention, focus, and effort for a task is a process that's impaired. Living with ADHD and chronic illness is a double whammy. These two conditions can impact each other in a very unique and challenging way. Research indicates a notable correlation between ADHD and chronic illness. For instance, individuals with ADHD are more likely to develop chronic health conditions such as asthma, diabetes, and migraines compared to those without ADHD. A study by the American Journal of Psychiatry found that adults with ADHD have higher rates of chronic physical conditions, including asthma and obesity. There are several main areas where we see this intersection bring the most significant challenges. The first is time management. Both chronic illness and ADHD can disrupt an individual's perception of time and their ability to organize tasks. This makes it really challenging to plan and prioritize effectively, leading to missed deadlines and increased stress. For instance, someone with ADHD might already struggle with deadlines, and adding a chronic illness can make it even harder to manage their time efficiently and effectively. Energy management. Chronic illness often causes fatigue and low energy levels, which can exacerbate ADHD symptoms like impulsivity and distractibility. When you're constantly battling low energy, it becomes even more challenging to stay focused and control your impulses, leading to a cycle of frustration and decreased productivity. Emotional impact. Managing the emotional impact of living with both chronic illness and ADHD can be particularly taxing. Feelings of frustration, anxiety, inadequacy are common and can be overwhelming without the proper support and coping strategies. Emotional well-being is crucial, and finding ways to manage these feelings is essential for overall health. Social relationships. The combined challenges of chronic illness and ADHD can make it difficult to maintain consistent participation in social activities and relationships. This can lead to feelings of isolation and further emotional distress. Building a supportive network and seeking understanding friends and family members and being open and honest about your chronic illness can make a significant difference. In work and academic settings, concentration difficulties and physical limitations can impact productivity and performance. So, balancing the demands of a job or education with symptoms of both conditions can really be overwhelming. It's important to seek accommodations and create an environment that supports your needs to help manage these challenges effectively. Finally, self-care. Self-care becomes critical and is often neglected when chronic illness is present. Balancing self-care routines with the demands of managing symptoms from both chronic illness and ADHD can be overwhelming, leading to neglect of essential health practices. So prioritizing self-care and finding manageable routines is key to maintaining your overall well-being. With the right support and strategies, individuals can manage these challenges effectively. Peer groups, therapy, and well-structured routines can really help mitigating the impacts of chronic illness on ADHD and vice versa. For those of you who want to take a longer look at these slides, you can find them on YouTube and in our Discord group. Here's this afternoon's agenda so you have an idea of what to expect. For our first round, we'll share the topics we want to talk about during today's meeting. Each of you can share your name, location, and what topic you'd like to discuss. You can either raise your hand to share aloud or type your topic in the chat. Go ahead and start raising your hands or typing into the chat now. For those of you who raise your hands, you'll have 1 minute to talk when we call on you. Please do your best to keep your introduction brief, just your name, your location, and your topic. We'll gently remind you of time if you go longer. Once we get through that round, we'll start our discussion. And during that portion, you'll have 3 to 5 minutes to share on the topic that was chosen. Please try to keep your shares on topic and on time so we can get to as many people as possible. We're so glad you're here.